Greetings, defenders of the Eldritch Guards compound. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Anomaly Eldritch Guards. Episode 94, Forever Maze. So this is where solar pinhole is pretty invaluable. If you didn't have solar pinhole, you'd have to use installed lights or flares. I mean, flares are pretty workable, like if you wanted to add some temporary lighting. They just don't last anywhere near as long as solar pinholes. I made Mickey Mouse. Let's hope Disney doesn't notice, or my stream will disappear. And then red was also left behind here to grab the Molotovs for when it's time to light the path on fire. So here we go. Yeah, you could also do lots of wooden torches. The issue with things like lights or wooden torches are they're targeted by enemies. So the enemies are going to actively try to destroy your light sources if that's what you rely upon. Whereas if you use flares or solar pinholes, they're not targetable, meaning that they can't be destroyed. Just makes them a lot more effective. So there we go. Void structure activated. Red, take a break from the the repairs to grab Molotov cocktails to ready yourself for the southern maze. So entity attack. We have got a swarm of Noctils up north. A swarm of Noctils in the west. Is that it? Just, oh, more Noctils. So it looks to be a Noctil rush. Oh, and there's also a metal horror, like, right on my 6. So these Noctils are coming in real fast. So I'm gonna have to set fires very quickly. Because, I don't want red opening the door and letting them through in a bad way. Oops, sorry, Guitar Lilin. Noctils are also fairly easy to kill. So I'll probably handle this without the mech's involvement. Mikus. Repair Guitar Lilin. There we go. Drinks on you? Well, thank you, Crimson. Cheers. I am trying to stay sane. I'm losing it a little bit. I'm doing my best, though. So usually, micro spoiler, but not much of one. Generally speaking, the Noctils, when they rush, they are paired with Sight Stealers. Also, I'm going to make the executive decision that it would probably be best to... Oh, Scorpio, thanks for all the gifted subs. Holy cow. A lot of drinks on you then, huh? What I was going to say was it would be probably best for me to nuke the remaining... the remaining unactivated void structures to cause the metal horrors to attack me now, because they're going to get caught up in like a very full and clogged maze. Yep, here's Sight Stealers, as I suspected and predicted. Because now that there's such a traffic jam here, the metal horrors that I aggro are going to have a hard time actually traversing to me in a reasonable amount of time. So we'll get that going as well. And I'm just having Ink try to clear out the bioferrite and stuff from the entryway. Mikus, you should be up here. Actually, carry Guitar Lil into the charger. Thwump. Yeah, you got thwumped. Your body's gone. I don't even know what that would look like. Can a normal mortar work just as well? Yep. It won't kill them, but it would work. But having pulled that I use the antigrains, I'm not going to go back on my word. A Sight Stealer revealed itself. Mm-hmm. Alright, so C-Pan is prepping another antigrain, and we're aiming for these. I might end up destroying my orbital trade beacon, my bait beacon, or at least damaging the walls really badly, but we'll see. My lord, is that a mess. Aiming. Alright, and then the next shot. Who's trying to move the antigrain? Probably one of the hauler bots. Saturn Bars. Oh! Yes, most excellent shot. It was spot on. Most of the metal horrors that are healthy are missing limbs. They're not actually healthy. So that was a perfect shot. See, Panda, just eat the meal there. And then the last shot, of course, is going to be to the last structure. I'm trying to aggro everything all at once. And I didn't destroy my my beacon. True. So the way the antigrain warheads work is like they will destroy up until the first physical barrier that they hit. So it could have even been a wooden wall. It wouldn't have destroyed a wooden wall either. So it was, you know, it only destroys up until the first wall, which meant that there wasn't a case where the beacon would be destroyed unless the door was propped open, and it wasn't. Nope. Saturn, leave that alone. Sea Panda, no. What are you? Where are you going? Stop touching my antigrain warhead. There we go. All right, and arming the last shot. What is really convenient about all of these noctils is that the hay grass is already burned, but their corpses are keeping the fire going. So the injured ones aren't immediately dying, of course. And then once they die, their corpses can become additional fuel. So the swarm of things that are attacking me is fueling the death of more swarms of things that will attack me. So it's kind of ideal, if you ask me. Why fire mazes are so insanely powerful when, you know, used correctly. They do have some counters. So, for instance, if your enemies have explosive weapons and they bring them into your fire maze, that's a pretty good counter to the fire maze because the explosive weapons are going to blow holes in your maze. But generally, they're highly effective. Okay, I missed the shell. I apologize, but it hit properly. That's a whole lot of corpse. I am going to give my shooters a break. I'll give everyone a break. I think the mechs that I have here can probably manage it. So mechs, let's have you move over to the idle mech zone. We're looking good. So I'm just waiting for the last of the metal horrors that we pissed off to traverse into the fire maze. And then I will reset the... Oh, time slow down. Where and for what? Fred! How the hell is that behind the walls? So this is one of those instances where the behind the walls zone allows them to go to the outer edge. So he was probably trying to repair an outer wall from outside, which is technically allowed, but obviously a bad idea. Oh, Joe Bro's doing it too. Oh, no, I see. The beacon was behind the wall. So the beacon ended up getting destroyed, and they were traversing to the beacon. Okay, well, I caught it before it became a problem. There's a few metal hoarders that are making it through. Fred, for your penance of trying to go all suicidal, I'm going to come and force you to fight metal horrors that are getting in. Actually, they're not even getting in. Yet. Pop. Yeah. So the fuel for the fire is running low. Oh god, look at all these. These guys are, I'm assuming caught fire. There's 8 of them here. They caught fire, ran out, got put out, but are now like incapacitated, which is honestly kind of funny. Alright, so there's a decent amount of metal hoarders coming in now. So I'm going to disturb the sleep of my my lovely shooters and get them all ready for the metal horror rush. Yeah, this is an incredible amount of dread leather. You're not wrong about that. My strategy here was just to win with overwhelming bullets, and it seems to be working just fine. Alright, I think most of the ones coming through this wave rush are dead. So now just waiting for the fires to die down so that we can reset the mazes and then piss off the next wave. Here comes there. So there's a metal horror in the maze. Scotia will kill it. Here, Scotia, take a step back, and Ink will join you. Or not. Metal horror caught fire and started running around. Oh, and then got incapacitated. You're pathetic. So the southern maze is now totally not gonna immediately kill me temperatures. So I'm gonna flip which maze is active, and then reset this, the bottom one. The other issue that I just realized is that inside the maze itself, it is too dark to keep us protected from the lack of light. So, C-Pan is going to need to do a whole lot of psi casting in order to bring the light level up to an acceptable level, or acceptable level, excuse me, so that we can actually perform the maintenance without risking our lives. It wouldn't likely kill us, but it would definitely damage our armor and cause a bunch of like micro wounds, and it'd just be generally annoying. Luckily, the light magically like bounces around the walls, so it's actually not... Ow, don't do that. It's actually not that hard to illuminate. Because small, dark sections like that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay, cool. So in terms of zoning, I'm going to allow them to move around the bottom maze and leave... The top maze doesn't require a lot of resetting. So the only thing I want to do is to move the corpses out where they're blocking doors. Ah, yes. Power of beautiful psi casting. It's also worth noting that I have not had to rely upon friendlies at all. We've been managing on our own, which is great. Power grid's looking pretty solid. Plenty of excess power. So the next void structure to get to is probably this one, because we can illuminate this area, and then pass through this gate here. It is, however, going to be a lot of psi focus to cast all the solar pinholes required. So I'm going to leave Sea Panda to mostly just meditate. Do I have enough edible meat? I think so. I mean, I don't have tons of it, but you know, we don't need to hold out for too long. Plus, I can always make lavish vegetarian meals if need be. But yeah, I've got about maybe 1,500 meat that isn't, you know, twisted. One shot. Cut the body in half. Now, I could see the argument to be able to get to here easier. Plopping a... Let's do a security door here. Pretty weird. But putting a security door there shouldn't increase too much vulnerability, as security doors are really toughened. And that will offer a shortcut to be able to get up. Just because getting here otherwise would be a real pain. So we'd have to start from down here and illuminate this entire path, which is like 3 times more psi casting. I think I am going to suspend the corsets for now, as they're probably not worth the effort and energy to do. What about using flares? In my experience, flares don't last long enough to be reliable enough to use. Because you really don't want to get caught out in the dark. As that could spell disaster. In a pinch, they're fine, but they're... Oh! So, you know how you asked, how am I avoiding children? I'm not! Andrea is now pregnant. First trimester pregnant. You jinxed it? That's okay. It's a, you know how there was a lot of COVID babies? Well, it's a void baby. It's special, I guess. Alright, apart from the security door itself, everything else has been... Here, Fred, just make it. Thank you. So once the security door is done, we'll start moving towards the Northern Void structure. Or, I guess, once Sea Panda gets his psi focus up, because he hasn't been meditating. Man, everyone has a brand new pair of pants? What happened? The last, like, 6 things that, Mikas has made has been Thrumbo pants. They got really scared from Devourers? Could be. Could be. Oh, you know what? Is it? I don't... think it's bright enough in here for my comfort. There we go. There were some dark spots that I would definitely not want to wander into. Alright, everybody's idle, so seems like a good time as any. Mikas is going to hang back with the mechs, and then everyone else is going to proceed. I hope I have enough psi focus to cast what I need to cast. We'll see. Really? Seriously? This is brand freaking... Okay. Alright, game. It's like a brand new security door that broke. Must be military grade. The joke of military grade, for those that don't know, is that military grade usually means... meeked spec and went to the lowest bidder. It's not a good thing to be military grade in most cases. It's a pretty bad thing. Just ask the 2 astronauts that have been marooned up in space, hanging out in the ISS, potentially for a year longer than they intended to. Military grade. Meets the lowest possible requirements for the least amount of money. Yep. I bet that Gore Hulk regrets wandering up on us. Boeing grade. Be careful. I'm seeing that too often and they might send a hitman after you. Red. I'm gonna have you hunt. So we were worried a little bit about meat. That Mega Sloth was wrong place, wrong time. Figured, just get it. And there's another one over here. Okay, that is definitely illuminated enough for us to make our way to the activation spot. I'm going to do one more solar pinhole on the other side. Mikas is standing here ready to set fires for the maze. And then Red is hauling that Mega Sloth over. I'm going to go ahead and get this other Mega Sloth just so that we absolutely do not have food issues. So Scotia, I'm going to have you haul that Mega Sloth in. And yeah, the path Scotia's taking is totally fine. Alright, Red. Now that you've done that, back to behind the walls zoning. I'm trying to be as careful as possible. Just to preface, the minor spoiler for Death Cult, the other series that I ran that has already ended. In Death Cult, I had to save scum during the sort of like void ending, and I'm really trying my best not to have to save scum for this. So I haven't yet for this void ending, which is why I'm being overly cautious. But I would also say overly cautious is not too much of a problem, right? Alright, Scotia's behind the walls, resetting the zoning. And then Mikas will be standing at the maze ready to go. There's a few Noctils hanging out there, so I don't want to be opening the door early if I can help it. So, this is our fourth void structure. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we have one left over here. So, preparing for the wave. We have got... Oh, boy. Alright, so we have a swarm of Devourers. 25 of them. Gorehulks. 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 So the Devourers are most assuredly the most dangerous thing about this rush. Especially given that they're the closest to the maze entryway, so it gives me the least amount of time to prepare the fire traps. So they are the enemies to beat. But everybody is already in position. And I'm going to try a slightly different tactic in this fight. Than before. So Scotia, have you... Where did you put the... Oh, I think this is Mega Sloth meat, so we... Okay, yeah, we already butchered one Mega Sloth, and we're, the other one's yet to be hauled. So the new tactic that I'm going to choose is... I'm going to intend for the Devourers to breach. Actually, maybe not. There's 25 of them. They're too many, I think, to have that. There's actually one thing that I could do. I don't want to because it kind of ruins both halves of the maze. But hypothetically, what you could do is once the Devourers reach the end here, or nearing the end, you could flip which valid path is. So what you could do is you could open this door, open that door, close this one. So you force the Devourers to then double back through the fire maze and then go through the other maze. The problem with that, of course, is that the bottom maze will also get torched. But I'm gonna, because we have a lot of hay, I'm gonna do that just as a demonstration of the tactic. And yeah, here are the security doors taking heat. So this door is open, and then this door will be closed here in a minute. Alright, so the new path is open, and the old path is going to be closed. It will have some of these enemies shortcut, so it's not perfect. It's better if they've all committed to going to the wrong side first. But now these Devourers are going to turn around and take a lot more fire damage before they get to where they need to attack us. And there's nothing stopping you from flip-flopping yet again once they reach the end again. What will happen is they will attack some of the walls out of, like, pathing frustration. Alright, so forcing that open, closing that one. And now the valid path into the base is the northern path. So I've basically double duped the enemies. And the disadvantage, like I said, is it burns both halves of your fire maze, but the advantage is you get your hands a lot less dirty. So this is just so that I can demo. You know, if you do struggle with Devourers, you can use strategies like this, where you just keep messing with their pathing. What's important is that there is always, at any given time, a valid path. So it is important to open a new path before you close the old one, because if you don't do that, when you have no pathing, they will bust holes in walls. So you have to open the new one first. Because if you don't, then these Devourers are going to start chewing up the walls and getting in. So there's a very, very careful order of operation that needs to be heeded. Otherwise you're encouraging the enemies to bust holes in your walls. Which is probably not something that you want done. I'm going to dismiss Daedora. Again, Daedora has dementia. I don't want someone with dementia on the front lines. What's the temp of the trap? About 1000 C. It maxes out at 1000. Doesn't get hotter than that. And they are getting cooked. And because we're already using this as a strategy, I'm just going to have Devil Eyes flip it again. So open, close. Because the Gorehulks are getting close. And the longer maze you have, the more effective this can be. Because the super long maze has them overcommit to one side and then get burned up. If we take a look at the hit, so some of these Devourers are barely burned at all, but a lot of these Devourers are probably nearly dead. Although their flammability seems to be rather low. 70%? No, that's not very low. I just think they're tanky as hell. Jobro, this isn't BattleBot Arena. Get out of there. He's like, oh, I have plenty to do. Flames can wait. In fact, all of my worker mechs go into the mountain. So the other advantage is, because I've been flipping the maze sides, the Devourers, some of the Devourers are not clustered like the other ones are, right? We have a little bit of a grouping here, but there's like Devourers that are falling behind and Devourers that are in front, which makes it a little bit easier to take them out, because I don't have to take them all at once. So what I can do in this instance to try to avoid my mechs from being shot to hell is just to stand, leaving the shooters. In fact, I'll group the shooters up more in the middle. So leaving the shooters to have more of a clear path to shoot directly. so that there's fewer friendly fire incidents. And because they engage Kish upon arrival, they don't go moving forward and then jumping. But in case they do, I will take I'll put the brawlers in front. Now, if I wanted to be really cruel, I would flip this one more time. You know what? Hell with it. I am going to be that mean. Burn, baby, burn. And now these Devourers have to turn around and go the other way. The other strategy to deal with Devourers, and I actually might take this opportunity to fight them a totally different method. So, Soulblader, go close this door. I'm gonna just shoot them. Now that they're, like, fairly wounded, they're not as fast. And being not as fast, they're gonna be a little bit easier for me to just kill with guns. See, it's not that the enemies need a valid path into your base. They just need a valid path to be able to get to some target. Some target could be your people outside of the base. So that's what I'm doing now, is I have both halves of these mazes closed, but I'm out here waiting for them. So I'm the valid path. You know, my shooters. Although my shooters are having a bit of a mental break problem. So Daedora, can you hit 2 Soothers, please? And Swanky, eat a lavish meal. Skyra, eat a lavish meal. Fred, eat a lavish meal. And Red, eat a lavish meal. I'm sure they're very hungry. Now the others are going to eat meals. You know, I might actually only need 1 Soother. Just because I think it was mostly the starvation that was causing the big blip in mood. Swanky's still going to be a little moody. But yeah, everyone else is fine. Looks like the rest of the Devourers are incapacitated due to fire. More or less. What was that? Oh, just a Noctil. So I'm just waiting for this Devourer, which is the only one that is not incapacitated, to get up. And then we can retire. Is it hot in the gap hallway? No, it isn't. Good. We'll use the gap hallway to enter the base. So the fight's over, and we really didn't have to get our hands dirty. I generally don't fight like that. I generally try to give the enemies a little bit more chance than for me to manipulate them until the point where they are, like, worthless and useless. But I just wanted to demo that if you are really struggling this event, you can definitely use flip-flopped trickle-feeding traps like that to make it very easy to deal with. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Anomaly Eldritch Guards, which originally streamed live on Twitch August 11th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow guardsmen.